Hello, everyone, or when you come in. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our fourth live show of the day. Obviously, we've now had tons of videos going up, and hopefully, everyone's been enjoying what we've seen so far. If you're not joining us live, welcome. You won't have the ability to comment and chat live, but feel free to send any questions over at any point once you've seen the video, and we'll do our best to send someone over to try and answer them as much as possible. So, obviously, I'm Mike, joined by Adam from the Brick Balling Podcast. We're just here covering the BAFCA convention. Obviously, we've got a really good relationship with BAFCA, and they just asked us to help us out. So more than happy to help out. Give Wayne a break because I know Wayne and Pete have done a hell of a load getting into this. So
they're very, very busy.
Yeah, very, very busy chap. So we moved to probably the most exciting position in all of sports, it's fair to say, not just that. And we get into the mind's eye of quarterback reads and what those guys are seeing. So it's not just throwing a ball; it's from everything from what they see, how they see it. But Adam, whilst I just blocked for these guys. We had to bring someone in a little bit better than you. No disrespect.
A lot better. Not
a lot better. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So we brought on Coach Brian. How are we doing this evening? This afternoon. I don't know what time it is where you are.
It's 10 a.m. right now here.
This morning for you.
Yeah, I'm doing great, guys. I appreciate the invitation. I think it's proper to give a shout out to begin with to Coach Rich Wursel from Akron University. He's a great guy. He's got this awesome group that he's got international networking going all over the place, and I just appreciate the opportunity to be with you guys and talk quarterbacks. It's a hot topic always.
We write songs about Rich over here in the UK, by the way. We've got songs about him and everything. Like he's like a folk hero to us over here.
Brian, I'm making sure his reputation grows south of the border here too. So,
hey, Coach, as well. Don't worry if you can't understand Adam. We call him a Geordie over here, but it's fine. We can get subtitles and stuff, and I can translate anything that you can't understand from him. They've got a weird accent. Don't worry about it. It's not just you.
Hey, I'm doing good, man. So far, so good.
So do you want to just give anyone who doesn't know a quick introduction to who you are, what you're doing? And where you're at the moment, and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Brazilian originally, and actually that's where I started coaching football over a decade ago now, and always wanted to get up to the U.S. and coach college ball over there, like many of us, if not most of us. And but during that pursuit, I ended up meeting an American that's been here in Mexico, coaching college football for like 20 years now. And he was a head coach at the previous university that I worked with. And he gave me the opportunity to come up here as a graduate assistant coach. So I did that in 2016. Spent 4 years here in Mexico coaching quarterbacks. And last year, about January last year, I got the opportunity to come to Tech Toluca, the university I am in at now, and to be the offensive coordinator and coach quarterbacks. So I've been here in Mexico for 5 years now in the college league. It's awesome. I mean, it's extremely underrated for international standards, I would say. I was shocked when I got here and I saw a college football game in the Olympic Stadium in Mexico City with 70,000 people in the stands. And I was just like, where was this all my life? You know what I mean? And it's amazing. There's a lot of investment. I would say football is probably the second most popular sport here in Mexico, just behind soccer, obviously. And so if I'm going into really my second season as the OC quarterbacks coach for Toluca, but it's going to be my first because we didn't play last year.
Yeah.
And I'm just chomping at the bits, man, just trying to get there and call those plays and install that offense. But we're right around the corner from the season. So,
I mean, that's amazing. So it's like coaching in America, everything about that, but the food's better. You can it tastes good.
I'll tell you know what's great about it is it's very American in everything we do, but they never lost the Latino spirit about it. So we got the chants in the stands, we got the drums in the stands, so all the good things about soccer, they just translated that into football.
I'm sold. Yeah, I'm on the way now. I'm on the way
over. We'll get some good food, have a good time.
Hey, come on over, guys. You're welcome anytime.
But we'll hold you to that, just so you know. You'll regret that. Someone clipped that, and then when we're on our way over, and he's like, listen, guys, I don't have a clue who you're at. I'm like, listen, you told us we could get good food and good football. I'm there.
Hey, I'm already assigning our offensive line coach to host you guys when you come here, so that he can take you to all the good taco places.
So so obviously your season's coming up now. I think you were saying it's October. Am I right in saying?
Yeah, so we're gonna have a reduced season. It's gonna be a 6-game regular season with a ranked bowl series at the end, so 7 games. And we're kicking off October 23rd, so about a month later than we usually do, because of the whole COVID situation. That we're getting out of it. We're on the other side of it here in Mexico, but we still have to be very cautious about everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, with it being a reduced season, I'm assuming you're not guaranteed a bowl game or nothing, but you're hoping to get there, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so in the end, what's going to happen is we're going to play every week for 6 weeks, and then we have 2 groups here in Division I, and we're just going to play within our group, and then we're going to be ranked, right? So when we say bowl series at the end, the last week is just going to be like number 1 versus number 1 for the national championship, number 2 versus number 2, and then we're going all the way down. So the cool thing about it is it doesn't matter how good or bad of a season you have, you're still going to play 7 games. But if you want to try and compete for a national championship, you got to win all your group games so you can play for the number 1 bowl. So that's how they're kind of like organizing it for this year, which is creative. I thought it was a pretty good solution.
I like that idea.
Sounds you got it better fitted than the UK game. For some reason, we've got our top tier teams playing our Div 2 tier teams, and yeah, it's a bit of a lot of cancellations and stuff with guys not 100% wanting to play against the top team. So it sounds like you've got it's a bit more in ship shape and order over there.
Yeah, I mean, we got to consider the school calendar too, right? So at the end of the day, I mean, we report back to the university presidents and ADs and all these guys, and they have other concerns other than football. So we got to make sure that it's tight and organized, and we're not asking guys to be on campus a day more than they should be for school. So it worked out pretty nice.
Yeah, no, brilliant. So do you want to just talk us through? So obviously you coach QBs where you are. Do you want to start the presentation in terms of talking us through what you're going to run through with us today? And then if anyone's watching along and they've got any questions and comments, we'll just take a pause in that and raise them to yourself, Coach. If you want to get kids started, share your screen, and then we'll get into that, and then we can jump in and out as and when if anyone needs any questions come up. If that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds good. Let me just share my screen here and make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, you guys let me know if you can see the huddle presentation, the huddle screen.
At the minute, I can just see the screen seems to be. Oh, yeah, we've got you. Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Right. So today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about coaching quarterback reads in the passing game, and we could be here for hours and hours talking about this. And I was just laughing, Mike, when you were talking to Adam at the beginning, saying, I mean, we just block for these guys, and it's funny because actually this year I actually started meeting one-on-one with our center, which is the leader of the offensive line too, and teaching him basically what we teach the quarterbacks, because that cross understanding, I think, generates a little more empathy, and empathy is always good when you're trying to help somebody else do their job, right? And it's been fascinating because these guys on the offensive line are so smart. And it gives them so much more confidence when they understand what it is that we're asking the quarterbacks to see. And it also helps them keep them accountable, right? So it's been pretty good. And hopefully, by the end of this, we can have a little dialogue. And if you guys come up with any questions about how we do things, there's 1,000 ways of teaching quarterback reads in a passing game. We really try to keep everything very simple and very fundamental in the sense of how we teach things here in Borregos Toluca. And but yeah, if you guys have any comments as far as, hey, you know what, this is completely, absolutely wrong, we do it absolutely the opposite of what you're doing, or this doesn't make any sense, just feel free to jump in. And if there's any questions, just let me know, and I'll be happy to debate those, because at the end of the day, football is different in every league, every country, and there's always something that we can learn, and I'm looking forward to learn how you guys do things too. So to start with, this is something that we've all heard, and this is something that I really harp on with the quarterbacks, which is basically the game is played above the shoulders, right? I mean, before we even set our foot on a field, we got to make sure that we know up there, up in our heads, we know what the hell is going on. We know what our assignments are. We know where our eyes are supposed to be. And there's a process in order for us to coach the mental aspect of the game. There's a lot of cliches out there on Twitter, on the media. We're watching a football broadcast. We hear these things all the time, and people are saying, this guy is a cerebral quarterback, or he's extremely smart. He has this wide vision of the field, and he can read defenses. But at the end of the day, what the hell does that mean? Right? I mean, at the end of the day, what does it mean to read a defense? What does it mean to be a cerebral quarterback?
I felt like I was listening to Daniel Jeremiah then breaking down pre-draft. I was like, that word, that and a long cornerback. He's got quick twitch instincts. Yeah, I thought I was there.
Yeah, that is like cocaine for me, pre-draft because I love it and I hate it. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, it's just like, it's so addicting, but there's so many cliches and things that you go like, that doesn't even make sense. And I've been all over that pre-draft stuff that you just mentioned. And something that drove me crazy was the whole Justin Fields thing, where people would like show clips of him and go like, well, he can't throw past his first read. I was like, how do you know what his first read is? It just, like, as a coach, it drove me crazy. But, it's a great debate, and it's part of the reason why I'm fascinated about this subject, because here in our program, what we do is we understand there's a process to teach that, right? There's a process to develop a cerebral quarterback, and that just means that the guy thinks about what he's doing and he's able to, recognize and anticipate and confirm and diagnose things. That's basically what it means. So when we talk about this process, we're really splitting it into two different parts of the year. What we do in the off season, what we do during the regular season, during the season, right? When we're practicing to compete in games. And it's a 4-step process that goes up. So the very base is what we teach, in the drawing board, on the meeting room. Right? If you see on the off-season part, we're focusing on conceptual learning. So what does that mean? Is we're trying to teach these guys how the concept works. And this is for the whole offense, right? Running game, RPOs, passing game, play action, quick game, drop back, whatever you want to say, this is how we start teaching it. And when we say we try to harp on conceptual learning, what we're saying is we don't want guys to memorize stuff. Right? We want to have flexibility within the offense, which allows us to use just a handful of concepts that can adjust within themselves rather than, this concept never changes. It's always like this. So we need to have 15 concepts in order to have any kind of complexity and variety within the offense. That's not what we want to do. We want to teach concepts to these guys in the sense that, hey, I know what a flood is. I know we're trying to generate a 3-level stretch on a defense, so it doesn't really matter what guy is running where because I know what we're trying to accomplish, right? So that is what conceptual learning is for us. And then you go back for you guys, offensive linemen, we tie that back into the protection where everything starts, right? So it's like, okay, so if this is what I'm trying to accomplish, this is the proper protection that I have to be in to make sure I have enough time. I have enough pocket to set up my launch point in order to accomplish that, which I set out to accomplish in this particular concept. So conceptual learning for us is the most important thing in the off season. And that starts in the install meetings, right? It's the playbook, it's the drawing board, it's the clips in the film room. That's the first introduction that a quarterback has to a play. And then we take that to the field, right? I mean, we have all kinds of kids in our programs, and there's guys that learn better watching film. There's guys that learn better going through the motions on the field. So step 2 is reps on the field. We're going to do routes on air. We're going to do install periods. We're going to do walkthroughs. We're going to do 7-on-7s, right? We're going to do different conditioning drills where the quarterback still has to go through his reads. Those are the reps, physical reps on the field. From that, we're going to go back into the film room and we're going to watch practice. Right, we're going to watch those 7-on-7 reps where there's no pass rush, and we're going to go like, hey, this is really not where we want to place the ball, or do you feel how your footwork is not putting you in a proper timing to deliver this 10-yard sail route, and we'll have all those conversations to fine-tune it so that physically he can feel good about that rep that he's doing. And by the time we get to step 4, which is 11 on 11, situational football, Belichick scrimmage, whatever it is that we're doing on the field. Now he's competing against the defense. There's a pass rush there, and that's where he's going to put the good film on tape so we can go back and see, hey, does this work? Does this not work? Are you seeing this right? Are you reacting to this the way that we want to? Are you able to diagnose what we want you to diagnose on this particular passing play? So these are the 4 steps in the offseason. The in-season 4 steps is just a mirror, right? The difference is that we're not in install meetings anymore. We're in the scouting report process. So now he already knows what a flood concept is. He already knows what a 3-level stretch is. He already knows what it's called, who's running it, what the variations are, because we spent a whole offseason doing it. Now we're talking about how we're going to apply that to the game, to the game. So it's like, hey, this is our flood play, but this is the coverage that they're going to be in when we line up in 3-by-1. So now it's, this is probably where the ball is going to go. If this flat defender does this and he tries to carry number 2, then you can't pass up this completion. You got to dump this ball right away because he's going to have room to run, right? Or you can bait this guy to come down and we can put that sail up behind him. So we start talking about applying the concepts that they learned in the offseason, right? Scout reps against the scout look, and I can't emphasize this enough. Scouting, if any of you coaches have been responsible for the scout team, and you guys know what I'm talking about, man, that is the worst job in the world. Scouting is so hard. And what we tell our scout guys is just give us a great pre-snap look, because as soon as the ball is snapped, the look is going to deteriorate. They're not in the opposing team's heads. They don't know what they're doing. So they can give us a great pre-snap picture so the quarterback can get used to that, can get those mental reps and train his eyes. And then from that, we'll just take whatever they can give us post-snap. So those scout reps are just they're just precious during the season, because of those pre-snap looks. We'll go back, we'll film review, and then we'll get to the game on Saturday, and that's where the competitive reps are going to come from. So that's basically the 4-step process. Now, this is a big question. What is it that we task the quarterback with? Okay, and this is very important for us coaches, because sometimes we're in the film room and we're game planning and we're watching a clip of the defense, and all we want to do is spend 15 minutes arguing within ourselves trying to figure out what coverage they're in. We've all done it, right? And we're like, nah, this is a zone dog. Nah, this is a man pressure. Nah, they're spinning out of too high. And what I tell coaches all the time is like, coaches, if it takes us 15 minutes to figure out a coverage, how do you expect the quarterback to figure it out in 15 seconds and throw the ball, right? So we got to keep things simple. This is what we're tasking the quarterback with. We're asking him to identify, diagnose, confirm, and execute in a span of 45 seconds, less than that, right? So this is the pre-snap operation on this side, and this is the post-snap operation on this side, right? He gets the play from the sideline. He's receiving the signals or reading the wristband, or if he's in the NFL, he's getting a play call on his helmet. He has to identify what it is that we're going to do, right? He's got to communicate it to the offensive line, or however you guys do your communication within the line of scrimmage. He's got to diagnose what the defense is doing, which is basically look if it's a 2 high, a 2 shell, a 3 shell, if they're 1 high or 2 high, if there's more than 6 guys accounted for. He's got to diagnose all that, and then he's got to snap the ball, read and confirm that his diagnosis is correct, and then throw the ball to the right place, right? So we task our quarterbacks with a lot. And if we want our quarterbacks to be successful, we have to understand that simplicity has to start in the preparation process, because preparation is going to allow him to direct his focus and basically just focus on this. See a little, see a lot. I'm a big believer on it, right? There's 11 moving parts on defense. I don't need the quarterback to see all that, right? He has approximately 7 to 15 seconds to make a pre-snap read. Depending on the tempo that we're playing, he's got less than that. If we're going blitz tempo, which for us is just up tempo, no huddle, we're trying to snap the ball within 16 seconds. He's not going to read a whole lot, right? So what we tell our quarterbacks is for every concept, for every passing play that we have in our system, there's a movement key and there's one defender that I want you to focus on. And that can change according to game plan. That can change according to a scouting report. But fundamentally, we're always looking for the same things for every concept that we have. So what I tell the quarterback is see a little, see a lot. Okay? Your preparation will reduce your pre-snap picture. What does that mean? If you watch enough film, if you get on your mix down playlist, if you get on your third and short playlist, and you start watching the whole week these clips of these guys lining up against the formations that we're going to use in the down and distance situations that we're expecting in the game, it's not going to be the first time in your life that you see it when you line up across from them on the field, right? You're going to start to recognize instead of identifying pre-snap. Oh, I've seen this on film. This is what they're doing. But that only comes with reps against the scout team on a practice field, reps on your own on a video room. I would say more on the extra side, as far as you can't just like be a good quarterback if you're just on a film room with your quarterback coach, right? Or your offense coordinator. You got to go home and you got to watch it on your own, right? You got to know what you're watching. You got to get those playlists and you got to start harping through them. You got to breeze through them, right? And you go like, okay, so when this guy's spinning out of a too high shell, this is how he looks like. Or this Sam linebacker that's playing the D gap, and I'll show you an example of it. He's triggered every time he's playing zone. So as a player, that's what you want to check and see on film so that your preparation reduces the picture that you're seeing because you're focusing on certain elements of defense, right? We want to train our quarterback's eyes, right? So every time we're going through indies, the first thing that I see is where are the quarterback's eyes? Is he looking just staring blank into space? Or if we're doing a 3-step, do I see that his eyes are up on where the safeties would be? If we're doing a 1-step quick game footwork drill, I want to make sure that his eyes are underneath, right? That his eyes aren't bouncing and scanning the whole field because that's not what we do on quick game. So we want to train the quarterback's eyes. Every time we install a concept or a play, we want to give them pre-snap keys and movement keys. Pre-snap, this is what identifies their shell, right? It's the safeties. It's the cornerback stance. It's the D-gap player, force player stance. And post-snap, we want to give them a movement key. This is where your eyes are going to go post-snap to confirm if what you diagnosed is correct, right? So for every play, the quarterbacks already know, okay, coach, what's my pre-snap key? What's my movement key? For every play. If we're running flood, this is our pre-snap, this is our movement key. If it's a 4 vertical concept, this is our pre-snap key, this is our movement key, right? So we want to train our quarterback size and hold them accountable every time we have a rep in whatever concept that we're doing, be it indie, 7-on-7, 11-on-11, or a game rep.
So coach, just for my understanding, just so I can, and hopefully if everyone's the same. So could you give us an example there against, say, for example, cover 3, you're running flood, you're on the left hash, so we're going probably flood to strong side, wide side of the field. Could you tell us that pre-snap key on that? How you're going to identify that? Probably they're in the cover 3. Obviously, corners might be a little bit off, but what are you going to tell the pre-snap key, and then what is that movement key? Let's say they played a 4-2.
Sure thing. Actually, I think I have a clip example of exactly what you're saying, like flood versus cover 3, if I'm not mistaken. But but that's a very basic read, right? I mean, cover 3, everybody plays cover 3. We're running flood to the wide side of the field. In our case, would be in 3-by-1, and we can do it different ways. But if we're in 3-by-1, we're flooding to the wide side of the field. We're really keen on that wide side flat defender, right? So our number 1 guy pre-snap, we want to see where the free safety is. Right? If it's a team that's going to rotate into its cover 3, we're reading the field safety. So if they show us a 2 shell, we're reading that field safety because that's where our strong side is. If he holds the shell, then we know we're going bottom up. Right? We're going flat, sail, take 2 post. Right? We basically in a flood concept, we almost never throw that take 2 post from number 1, but we're basically going from short to medium to high. Our pre-snap key is the field safety to hold for any spins. Our movement key is the flat defender, right? So that's how we would teach it versus that look. Now, if they give us a 1 shell pre-snap, there's no field safety up high, he's down, and we got a free safety and a post safety in the middle of the field, then we basically ignore him because he's not going to influence what we're going to do on that side. So now our movement key is to find that other safety. If he's weak, then we're reading the flat defender on the field side. If he's strong, then we're reading him. Yeah. And out of those looks, what we're doing more often than not, we're throwing a 12-yard sail, right, against that cover 3 corner, because the take 2 post is trying to drive him, grab the safety, open up the flat route is trying to drag that flat defender down so we can throw that sail route behind him. Yeah. I can draw it up if you guys want. I got a whiteboard here with me, but I also have a clip later on, so I don't know if you guys.
It was just more for. Yeah, I went for the clip, but I thought I was like that, but I was just saying, I just wanted for people to understand what that actually looked like. So obviously the identifier is, as you've said there, your pre-snap key, your identifier is going to be that one field safety, as you call it, and the movement key is probably going to be the cornerback in terms of that, because obviously that'll give that quarterback the recognition whether he's going to be covered 2 if he sits in the flat, or if he goes deep. It's ideally going to be 3 or maybe prevent that worst case.
Yeah, and then it goes back to this, right? So, for example, I can teach him to throw flood against cover 3 all day here in the offseason, but then we might see a team that plays cover 3, but and they're playing man backside, and this is when during the season we go like, hey, this is usually how we do it, but this week you got to alert for this because these guys do it differently. Right, and that's part of the mental makeup of the coaching the quarterback, as well as making sure that in the season we're talking about application, not just theory, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, now I'm gonna run through this real quick. So what we do, there's an exercise that we do here in our offense, which is like I tell our position coaches to draw up their position route trees, right? And this is an exercise to illustrate what we ask guys to learn. So our running backs really don't do a lot in a passing game. Okay. So this is basically all they do. Obviously it can change according to coverage and whatnot, but this is basically what we ask our F back to do. Right. If you go to the tight end position, gets a little more complex, but it's, a lot of middle of the field stuff, some deep routes going to the sideline, some streaks, some corner routes but that's really what we ask our tight end to do. Right. And then this is what we ask our outside receivers to learn, right? We got the overs, we got the burst corners, we got the whole routes, the whole universe of routes outside the numbers to the sideline. We got all that good stuff. We get to the slot receivers in our offense. It's the most complex skill position. These guys got to read a lot. They got to convert a lot. They got all this bending stuff. They can basically attack the whole width and depth of the field. Pretty complex. Okay, gets a little bit more complicated. But then when you overlap all that, this is what we're asking our quarterbacks to learn, right? So this is, and I love doing this exercise with the quarterbacks because visually it impacts you, right? At the end of the day, it's like you grab this, is like, hey, this is what I'm asking you to know. And they're like, coach, this looks like the Mexico City subway system, and I'm like, yeah, man, you're absolutely right, because it makes no sense. I don't understand it.
And that's before you ask them to read the defensive line, the linebacker, slide to the blitz, and help with the protection, right?
Exactly. Absolutely. It comes first before he has the right to read any of these routes, right? but this exercise really kind of like hits home with them in a sense that, man, I got to prepare. I got to get on my playbook. I got to pay attention and take notes, because this is our passing game right here. Right? If we overlap everything that we ask in every play from every position, the quarterback is supposed to know all this stuff. Right? So it's taxing on a quarterback. And if you have a quarterback that doesn't know how to prepare and you don't coach his preparation, then that's when you start having mental mistakes and assignment mistakes and bad decisions made on the football field. Because when you know the offense, this is not complicated. I can tell you like, hey, you know what? Highlight all of our flood concept routes, and he's going to pull out every single route out of this mess, and he's going to say, hey, this is our China concept right here, right? And you can pick this thing apart. But if you don't, you look at it, you go like, whoa, what the hell is this, right? And that's what we're trying to – that's the universe that we're trying to get our quarterback out of. So in order to do that, we focus on this principle, simple is king, right? Simple. We don't want our quarterbacks to be pre-snap trying to identify, hey, this is cover 3 with man backside. Hey, this is quarters coverage, and this guy is doing a 2-read principle here on a slot receiver. Or they're bracketing this guy. Like, we'll talk about that in the offseason. We'll teach them the principles of what a cover 3 is, of different variations of cover 3s. We'll do that during the winter, like January, February in the year, and we play in the fall. But once we get to the regular season, All I want the quarterback to know is the shell of the defense, 1 high, 2 high, 3 deep, 2 deep, 4 deep, and if it's man or zone. And if it's zone with a man element, he has to be able to identify where that man element is. For example, if there's a team that's going to play his cover 2 on a trip side and man everywhere he goes on a single side receiver, he has to be able to identify that. But that's it. Because what we say, the way we run our concepts is, if I'm telling you to read a single high shell zone, that's going to be cover 3 more often than not. It doesn't matter if they buzz to it. It doesn't matter if they spin to it. It doesn't matter if they're trying to cloud it, because if your eyes are where they're supposed to be in the particular concept, you're going to be able to make a good decision.
Right. The best thing about it, right, with defense, and it's no disrespect to defense, there's only a certain amount of things they can go. They've got 11 guys to cover a certain amount of area on the field, and it's your job to find those gaps and those weaknesses. But there's only, in the history of time, only been a certain amount of coverages, right? And no matter how many disguise it, they're trying to get in 3, 2, or 4, maybe exactly. One high man underneath. But yeah,
hey man, if it looks like a duck and walks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Now, every now and then you're gonna find that defensive coordinator that's gonna make it look like a duck, walk like a duck, and it's a dragon, and you're screwed, and it's gonna happen.
I like that.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, and hey, we lose plays too. I've met so many offensive coordinators that they're just like, they want to be in that perfect play all the time, and we can't do that. I mean, sometimes the quarterbacks go like, coach, but what if we're running this and they're in quarters? And I'll tell them, well, then we're screwed. I guess they won that rep. You better freaking tuck it in and run, man, and make me look
at that out of bounds or something.
Exactly. It's at the end of the day, these guys got to figure it out on the field. And if we want our quarterbacks to consistently make good decisions, at least here in our program, we believe in keeping it very, very simple as far as what are you reading, what are we trying to do. So this is a quick, this is in a nutshell, right? This is in a nutshell what we believe each one of the 4 categories of our passing game is. RPOs, we use RPOs to fix the run, to put a specific defensive player in conflict, and to choose the field that we want to play in, right? So if you imagine a football field, I gotta draw this up for it to make sense. Can you guys see my camera again? I'm sorry.
We can see that. So fine.
Okay, yeah. So let me draw this up for you guys. So really quick, because the RPOs are not the focus of this presentation, but basically, what we're trying to show people is, if we have this going on, okay, and we have any combination of RPOs, what we're telling the quarterback is we're splitting these things into 3 fields. This is field 1 where the run concept is. This is field 2 where the strong side RPO concept is. This is field 3 where the single side receiver RPO is. If we have everybody tagged, right? So the concept is pretty simple. Choose your numbers. What field do you want to play ball in, right? Yeah. If we got numbers here, if they're trying to defend. If they're trying to defend the run with 6, then let's play field 1 all day. We love to run the ball. We believe in run to win, throw to score. The reason why we run RPOs is to fix the run and make sure they're not putting 7 here and running against 6. This is why we're running RPO. So we got numbers here, then let's go field 1. But then all of a sudden they're creeping, right, with a weak side D-gap player here, like a Sam Backer or a Rover, depending on the defense that you're in. And all of a sudden they got 7 on this field. It's not a good field anymore. Right? But they only got 1 guy here, and this guy is giving up his depth. So now we know that we love field 3. Why? Because we got 1-on-1, right? We got our X receiver, or in this case is the Z, but we got our good route running outside receiver running a 5-step glance versus an off corner, right? And there's nobody to help him inside because the free safety is right here in the middle of the field, okay, holding the shell. So now we love field 3. If they're bringing the pressure from the other side, right, and they're trying to have a guy over the top here, but he's 10 yards out, then we know that we can either run this, we can run our RPO, we can run our relief, we can run wherever it is, because now they're pulling numbers from the formation to defend the run, and we have numbers outside on the strong side. So for the picture for the quarterback is, hey, Pre-snap, just choose the field that we want to play in the RPO and fix the run, right? We're not trying to bait this guy into coming in late. If he comes in late, let's see if he can make the play on a run. We're trying to run the ball. The RPOs are there to fix the run in case they start creeping and pulling numbers from the spread formation to compensate on the run, or pulling numbers from depth to compensate on the run. And that's when we go play action, 7-man protection, double post, whatever, all that good stuff, right? But at the end of the day, we believe that it's run to win, throw to score, and that's how we operate on offense, and it's important that the quarterbacks know that. So that's how we use RPOs for.
Yeah. So we played a very similar offense where it's the same for us. It's just numbers. It's if we see 6 in the box, we identify the 5 most dangerous men, and you got to hope that 6th guy is good enough to crawl through traffic, check everything off, and then make a play on a running back in space. We're happy for that. Do you know what I mean? That's what we want. And then if they want to bring that guy in, then we'll play on that side of the field, because a defense can always be wrong if they're executed the right way.
And defensive coordinators will say there's nobody in conflict, right? They'll say the conflict doesn't exist in RPOs and all that. But hey, why does it work then, right?
Because I so often speak to defensive coordinators where linebackers can cover A, B, and C gap plus the middle third and cover the outside. Those linebackers are just so good. They're a different level. I've not seen them yet, but these linebackers who can do it all. Don't worry, we've got that covered with a linebacker outside. It's fine. No, you haven't.
They're great on paper.
If we've got our slot receiver at 75% to the sideline, then that linebacker's not covering him.
Hey, if we were able to complete every 7-man protection play action double post that we threw against man coverage, man, I'd be the offensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos. You know, it's just not the way it works.
Referees would just be stuck like that, wouldn't
it? Exactly. I mean, they still got to execute, and if we want them to execute properly, then they got to get reps in practice, and they got to know what they're going at, because familiarity generates confidence, right? If they know what they're looking at, if they know what it is, and they've done it in practice, they're going to do it well on the field.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very simple thing that sometimes we're very good at complicating everything as coaches. So this is something that we really try to do a good job of. And then how do we operate our quick game? Quick game for us is one step. 5-man protection, quick passing game underneath. We're looking for easy completions underneath. We're not trying to go deep very often in quick game. Okay, we're attacking spaces underneath, not long developing routes, and we want man answers. If they're going to man us up, because this usually, then that's the next step for defenses, right? We start throwing RPOs. They see they don't have numbers. Now what they're going to do? Let's man up on these receivers, so that we can tighten it up and we can mess up the timing. And now we have numbers for the run. We still have a free safety deep, and we're playing man, right? So then we don't want to throw RPOs versus man coverage. We can go to our quick game because we have built-in man answers on those quick games, and I'll show you a couple examples.
Because that's when you start to get your mismatches. Unless they're in a real good dime defense, you got a slot often covered by maybe a strong safety or something like that, which is a matchup you guys want. That's easy money for you guys at that point, isn't it? Absolutely.
Like we don't want to be in a quick game universe if they're pressing down on us, right? And it would be very difficult to see a defense that's going to do that consistently across the board, just because today everybody's very creative with rub routes and formations. We'll condense. We'll go to bunch. If they're going to try to press down on the slots, and we're going to try to rub and get guys out. But consistently, if guys are going to play man across the board, then we really want to get into a universe where we can 7-man protect and go deep, right? And that's step 3, which would be play action. All our play act, like we're not designing play actions to throw 12-yard comebacks, right? We're designing play actions to go big play to late check downs. We're always going to start with an initial 7-man protection that can end up as a 5-man protection with the tight end or running back leaking out in their check downs late. Because you got to count for those, drop A. You got to count for those quarter defenses that are gonna, start with their number 2 defenders down, but they're gonna carry whatever it is up the slot. And then you have all this underneath space. They're taking away all your big plays over the top, all your posts, all your verts, all your corners. You need to have those check downs leaking out late, right? So as far as play action goes for us is, if it's against a defense that's going to bring us perimeter pressure, then we're usually going to keep the tight end in, and we're going to leak the running back out first, right? He's going to play fake, and then he's going to try to get to his check down. If it's an interior pressure defense, then the tight end is going to squeeze down. He's going to help out, but he's going to get out first on the check down, and the running back is going to stay a little bit more, play fake, scan inside, and then he'll get late. So we'll try to adjust the play action, the protection scheme to whatever kind of pressure they bring. And then 4 for us in order of priority and importance is straight up drop back passing game. That's what we do the least, I would say. 6-man protection, straight up 3-step drop. And we're not an air raid team, so we're not really hanging our hat on that. But basically the way we teach our reads in the drop back is there are 3 categories, right? We have the PSL reads, we have the man zone reads, and we have the progression reads. So PSL, all PSL is it's shell reading, right? Reading rotation of the safeties. 2 high, we do this. 1 high, we do this. Basically, that's what it is, right? Man zone principles is it doesn't really matter if it's 1 high or 2 high. We just want to identify if they're in man zone. If we have a man zone read concept, we're going to attach a motion to it so that the quarterback can have an indicator, right? So anytime we have a concept that is a man zone read concept, we're gonna throw a motion in there, right? So and funny enough, we try to stay away from these concepts when we're running 2-minute drills. Why? Because there's no time to put motions in there, right? So unless we're completely certain and we have a clear indicator, then we're not going to put a man zone concept in a 2-minute offense. If they're just static and they give it up, then yeah, we'll have it in there. But we always try to attach some kind of motion to it.
Sorry, Coach, could you just share your screen one more time for us? So obviously, when we went to the whiteboard, I just think we lost it. So I know you're talking through it, but just be good for visuals.
I'm sorry. I thought the screen was shared. I'm telling you guys, man, I'm way behind on all this stuff. Okay.
No, you're good. No, we're good. Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, you see, I was drawing up. Well,
I thought you was. I seen your concentration face going on, so I thought, maybe he thinks we can still see it, but you'll be looking at the main screen and not us. So
yeah,
I got it.
It's embarrassing because I work for a technological university, right? So I hope my AD is not seeing this, but yeah. So and then the third type of read here for us is the progression reads, right? Progression reads are the true 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Doesn't matter where they are. You're always going to go from 1 to 2 to 3, 4, 5. And those are, mesh, the shallow cross, some forms of flood are progression reads as well. And it's really those air raid concepts, right, that we're used to seeing. And you're always going from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. And that's how it goes, right? So we have all these these 3 types of reads in our drop back game. And we just want to make sure that we're teaching the quarterback what each thing is. Okay, so for this presentation, the examples that I brought, I just focus on quick game and drop back, right? It's just we can talk about RPOs and play action, all that stuff all day, but I just brought examples on these 2 things. And the big thing for me is when and what for. So I want to teach my quarterback, when are we going to use quick game and why and for what are we going to use quick game or drop back, right? We're going to use quick game in mixed downs, third and medium and short, and tight red zone. Now, I might throw it to break tendency in some other situation and all that. We all know what we got to do. But in principle, philosophically, this is where we employ our quick game. Mixed downs, which is first, second down, third and medium and short, and tight red zone, right? Our drop back game is going to come in and mix down play action pass. Now, if you see my team dropping back on 1st and 10, straight up 6-man protection, it's not a 2-minute situation. I don't know. I'm probably sick, man. You got to call a doctor. We're not going to be doing that very often. We're gonna use our drop back on the shot zones between the 40-yard lines, third and long situations, because on third and long everybody runs the same offense, right? Doesn't matter what your style is, and going in the red zone from the 20-yard line to the 10-yard line. Those are the when and what for our quick game and our drop back. So this is day 1 install. This is day 1 explanation for our quarterbacks. This is where you can expect these concepts to be applied, right? So if we get into some examples here, we'll always start with protection for you offensive line guys, right? Well, when I'm installing, this is a page of our playbook. So we're always starting with our protection rules, our 5-man rules, offensive line with no help, how the communication works. We're going to be half slide. We always want to direct the protection away from the quarterback's eyes so the quarterback has the flexibility. I'll send in the protection, and the protection is always going to be away from the front side. But the quarterback, if he sees a certain pressure and he goes like, hey, I'm going backside. I can redirect the protection to the other side to make sure that the slide side is picking up these three guys, right? And if there's a sixth guy coming, or if there's an unexpected guy coming, he's coming to my face because there's no running back helping. So it's scat protection for us. It's 5-man protection. We have like the rules here where how we consider defenders that are 2 yards from the tackles as on the line of scrimmage. So you're saying identify the 5 more dangerous guys, and this is what we do basically. Right. And after that, so once I teach protection to the quarterback, we're teaching footwork. Before we talk about any reads, any secondary stuff, we're talking about protection first and then footwork. Because it doesn't matter if you're seeing the right thing, if you're not utilizing the proper footwork, you're diminishing accuracy, you're compromising timing, and the ball is not going to get there when it's supposed to. Right. So this is the footwork that we use for our quick game, which is a one-step, no crossover. This is just an example of the quarterback doing it, right? We're a left foot back in the shotgun team. So he's going to take this left punch step. He's going to set up, and this is our quick game footwork, right? So if you want to be on time on quick game, this is what we want the quarterback to do. If he's same thing as if he's throwing a fade in a goal line or any kind of vertical out of the quick game, he's rhythm 1, which you see no hop, left, right, left, balls out, and this is what we're teaching for quick game. There's another quarterback doing it, does it actually a little bit better, and he's throwing a 5-step glance route here, and you can see he's just going left, right, left, in rhythm, no hitch, no hop, and this is the footwork that we want. So at the end of the drop, we really want the quarterback to be 7 yards deep, right? Because deeper than that, it compromises the technique that the offensive line is using to protect for the quick game. They're not gaining a lot of depth. They have a sense of urgency to get in their hands in the defensive line to avoid knockdowns. And so we don't want to be very deep on that, right? So at the end of the playbook, like of the quick game session, we always put for every category a cheat sheet. And I can't recommend this enough for you coaches. Can you put your whole offense in one sheet of paper? In this case can you put your whole quick game pass in one sheet of paper, right, for the quarterback? Protection rules, footwork and rhythm, what his read is. Basically here it means read space. I know it's in Spanish. Don't kill me. This is from our playbook. And then what we doing on the field quick game, boundary quick game, what we call things, where our man answers are. Just an example of how to put a section of your playbook in a cheat sheet that the quarterback can actually go and see. Okay, so I'll just run through this film real quick. This is a 4-man stick concept. Okay, this is what we're doing. We got number 3 stick, we got a slot fade, and we got a 5-step glance from number 1 with an F swing going to the wide side of the field. This is a great concept against cover 3. Quick game, the quarterback is not really reading the safety. He's reading the space underneath. He knows he has this. Game plan-wise, we knew that this guy would line up here, but he would come and play this space. So that's why we love the 4-man stick, because we can sneak a glance behind it. Now, this is a hell of a play. Okay, quarterback has this quick throw here that he should do. He's playing some hero ball because we talked about this, and now he's completing this explosive glance behind this creeping defender because it's something that we knew was going to happen out of the way they played cover 3, right? So quick game, I'm not telling him to read this guy. I'm telling him to read space. As soon as he saw this guy creeping down, he believed it's going to be there. I mean, it's a hell of a throw, especially because the offensive line forgot to block the nose tackle on this play. Okay, so we slid the wrong way. Nose tackle's coming unblocked. And then again, what do we see? Footwork saving the quarterback's butt, right? If he doesn't have the proper footwork, this ball is not out in time. Left, right, left. Doesn't matter that the nose tackle is unblocked. He gets the ball behind the flat defender. We're cooking with gas. Now, same thing. When and for what? 3rd and 4, 3rd and medium. What do we want to attack? We want to attack space underneath. We're throwing an Okie concept to the boundary. Everybody has this on a playbook. Number 1, mandatory outside release vertical with a 5-yard out, okay, to the boundary. And we're just attacking space. It's a cover 3. Okay, it's a 1 shell. He knows that the space is on the flat defender side. We're attacking this to the boundary, right? All we want is to attack the space the corner is going to leave. Okay, ball's got to come out, proper footwork, left, right, left. You don't have to look away. Okay, this is something that I talk a lot to the quarterbacks about. You do not have to manipulate anything in quick game. Okay, just look straight to where you want the ball to go and get it out there. Okay, throw it soon enough that your receiver can do this. Catch, turn, go upfield. Okay, generate an explosive play out of a 40-yard pass. This is what quick game is for.
And the receiver does a great job there of leading him inside, doesn't he? So it almost could be perceived as he's not going to run the out route there, but just creating himself more space to get to the sideline, ideally, and get up the field, right?
Exactly. He's stemming inside, right? So this guy spent the whole game seeing him run across the field, running slants, trying to get up on over routes, and now he starts with an inside stem, okay, out of his reduced split to the boundary. He knows he needs to create space because we're in the short side of the field. So start with an inside stem, catch the ball just outside the numbers, give yourself room to work, right? And then he's a special player too. So at the end of the day, smart players create opportunities for themselves. But as far as the quarterback goes, we're not reading safeties. We're not reading anything here. We're just reading space, right? Boundary Yoki concept, get it in there. If it's there, throw it. Never pass up a completion is something that we tell the quarterbacks. Never pass up a completion, right? You see the quarterback's eyes on this clip. We're identifying and making sure we have everybody accounted for. Okay, 37 is the fifth man. We rush with 4. Eyes are there, never looking anywhere else. Launch point ready, pitch and catch. Okay, second example. We're the team in gray. This color combination gray-green wasn't very good. But it's the same concept here. Okie concept, okay, to the boundary. Now, what you see here is this is a slot option. Okay, he doesn't have an out route. For this game, he had a slot option. Why? Going back to movement keys, right? We knew pre-snap that if this player right here, which is the Sam on their defense, if he's in a triggered stance, they're playing zone on this side. It doesn't matter. If he's triggered, it's zone on this side. It's some form of 3 zone on this side. It's just a feature of their defense, right? So we knew that. That being said, when we decided to throw quick game out of this, so at the end of the day is they're going to play man on our best receiver on a boundary. So we're going to combine this with an option route to the boundary, right? He's got the vert to clear out, and we got an option route to the boundary. Ends up look like an Okie, but it's really a slot option. Okay, so if they give us man to the boundary on him, hey, it's mixed downs, 1st and 10, just go to him. Does the same thing this time versus man coverage and ends up picking up a bunch of yards. See, the quarterback's eyes are the same thing. He identifies the man coverage. What do we want to attack with quick game? Space and man coverage. We got an option route versus man coverage. We love it. Throw it. Let's go. Okay, another example right here. Doubles formation. This is all 10 personnel stuff. Okay, it's mixed downs. It's 2nd and 10. A lot of people think that 2nd and 10 is a throwing down. I still think it's mixed down. I still think it's a running down. But here we decide to one-step it, but it's against quarters. Okay, it's not against cover 3 anymore. Now this defense is quarters. The space is in the same place. They just get there in a different way. So instead of running an Okie concept that's really good versus cover 3, why don't we just go ahead and run an inverted slot fade with a hitch? We change the depth of the route combination so that this guy can't tee off on this Okie route, this guy right here, right? And now we have the same effect. We're attacking the same part of the field with a different guy. Okay, so that's basically what I would recommend is like, hey, if you're playing a lot of cover 3 and you got Okie in your playbook, you're great. But if you're going to start running Okie against quarters looks and this guy starts trapping you, okay, then now you might start thinking about inverting this a little bit and running the slot fade with the hitch combination because it's great against this look. You're just pushing guys and creating space, okay? See, the quarterback's eyes are the same thing. You don't need to look anything off. You just got to drop left, right, left, get the ball there as quick as you can. Get to a manageable 3rd down situation. Okay, now, tight red zone, right? We're approaching the 10-yard line. We're in a tight red zone. We want to use quick game as well. This is when you start having your running back stay, right? When we know that in the tight red zone, at least in our league, basically everybody plays man coverage. So in a tight red zone. So now you're saying, okay, well, quick game in a perfect universe, we're in a 5-man protection. Now I'm keeping my running back in because the blitzes are coming, right? Pick your matchup. You got your best player on the slot. Here we're just running a simple smash concept. We're getting them isolated on a corner route, and it's just this is a losing proposition for the cornerback, for the nickel back, right? I mean, you isolate your guy. Footwork here is all over the place. I don't like the footwork for the quarterback. He's shuffling. We can shuffle, and usually we tell the quarterback to shuffle when he's throwing vertical routes versus press, outside vertical routes versus press. We'd rather him shuffle like this. But to throw the corner route, he really doesn't need to. He's all over the place, but at the end of the day, he delivers a good ball. We isolated the guy one-on-one inside, and at least in our league and for the kind of offense that we run here, whenever we can isolate a defender, we want to isolate him on the slot, not outside, right? It's just easier ball for the quarterbacks. They love it. This is where we put our good receivers at. Okay, now I'm almost approaching an hour, so I'll go real quick here on the drop back. Only thing that changes on the drop back for us is the rhythm of the footwork and the 6-man protection, right? The technique of the offensive line will change as well. We're going to gain more depth because we need more time to develop. The quarterback wants to end his drop around 10 to 10.5 yards of depth. He doesn't want to be deeper than that, or else you're putting your tackles in a bad position, right? And the way we're going to do this is we're going to do a left punch step. We're going to reach, we're going to cross and set, right? So this is our 3-step footwork. If we're doing play action, we're going to ball fake, and then we're going to do this drop exactly like this after the ball fake, okay? So this is what we do. Rhythm 3, no hitch. Okay, this is the footwork. 3 with a hitch, depending on the route he's going to. This is how it's supposed to look like. And then this is the drop back passing game cheat sheet that we have in the playbook, right? Protection assignments in one sheet, footwork and rhythm. Then we have the families of the concepts that we use, what kind of read it is. This is PSL read rotation, progression read, and this drive concept 1, 2, 3. Progression read on a flood, read rotation, PSL reads on a post, right? And then in the end, this is the visual cheat sheet that we always like to give our quarterbacks. Now, talk a little bit about 4 verticals in a drop back passing game, right? Everybody loves 4 verticals. So here, what do we see? 1 high. They give us a 2 look, but we know this guy's spinning down. This is their rover, right? Based on the game plan, we know this guy's spinning down. So quarterbacks knows this is a 2 shell. Okay, this is our movement key. I know he's spinning down. So the way we teach 4 verticals is whenever we have a 1 high look, we want to read seam to seam. Okay, we're going seam to down to our check down. If it's man coverage, then we're really reading outside, inside. He's going to pick a side. He's going to go outside, inside, check down, right? So this is his PSL read. Movement key is this guy. Right? We're trying to divide him. Pre-snap, he sees this guy in spinning position, confirms. Movement key is the free safety. Now we got, number 3 crossing the field. This guy is sitting right here. He's not gaining enough depth. We can sneak the bender behind him. This is a touchdown, right? So this is a hell of a play by the quarterback because if you see this is a bad snap in the beginning, and usually what I tell the quarterbacks is if you get moved out of your launch point, look for your check down, right? If you lose your feet, look for your check down. Here he just said, screw it. I can still see it. I got the ball. Enough time. This guy is shallow. I'm throwing the bender over him for a touchdown, right? So just normal, regular 4 vert look versus 1 high. This is 4 verts again, but now we're dividing, right? So we're crossing number 2 and number 3. He's got the seam and he's got the crossing route. This isn't a bad decision by the quarterback. The way we teach them to read the divide 4 vertical concept is check the near safety to the trip side, okay? And he's going to be your movement key, right? So now we confirm it. It's a 1 high shell. This is our movement key. If his hips are turned outwards, we want to throw the crossing vert, right? You're going to see this guy's wide open. That's it right here. His hips are turned outwards. He's going to play the seam all day. right? Quarterback keys on the best receiver, makes a bad decision, still completes the pass. But he could have thrown a pick here, should have thrown a pick here. And this is an example of us not grading them very well after that. I love Cowboys, love quarterbacks, not a big fan of Cowboy quarterbacks. So we really want to throw this ball to the crosser because instead of having a tight window throw, we'll have a touchdown. Sounds a lot better, coach. 3-step, boom. All of a throw, but you have this guy streaking across for a touchdown. Right? And another example. Okay, pre-snap shell, find your rotating safety. He's in a rotating position here. Okay, playing weak, movement key, near safety, make your decision. That's all it is. Doesn't matter what coverage they're in. As long as he knows that in the divide concept, he's reading the near safety. That's it. That's all he needs to know. Okay, now, another example. One high shell, okay? This is a variation. This is another concept within our vertical family, okay? They're playing a one high shell. We know it's zone. Why do we know it's zone? Pre-snap key against the same defense, the Sam backer triggered. Sam backer's triggered. We know it's zone, okay? Now, what's the movement key? It's the safety right here. He drops. Safety goes from the wide side of the field all the way trying to rob this boundary slot receiver, God knows why, and he opens up his seam for this bender going all the way in the middle of the field for an explosive play on 3rd and 4, right? Does it matter what the defense is doing? Coach, not really, because my pre-snap key is showing me, for this defense is showing me zone, and my post-snap key or my movement key is showing me that I have a bender behind him. That's it. That's it, man. That's all the quarterback needs to know. Reduce the picture, direct the focus. Okay, now, man coverage, right? We start talking about man coverage. It's still a one high shell, okay? But if we read man coverage, what we're telling the quarterback is we don't like the seams versus man coverage. Why? Guys are playing outside leverage on us, funneling us to the free safety. We don't like the seams versus man coverage. So we really want to go outside if he sees man coverage. Remember, no triggered safety versus this defense. There's no triggered Sam, so they're not playing zone. He's playing man technique. He's playing press man technique. I'm going outside, right? 3-step drop, 6-man protection. I'm going to my comeback conversion on the outside. Easy pie, 2nd and 20. We're getting 13 yards, going back to a 3rd and 7. This is a great play, great decision. This is how 4 verticals work. Man coverage, one shell, we're going outside all day. And then there's the case of cover 0. And you offensive line guys are going to love this, right? So they're showing us this 2 shell. We know it's cover 0 because they're triggering 7 guys in the line of scrimmage. So we got to assume all 7 guys are going to come. Now, if you're a spread offensive coordinator, the best thing you can do is you utilize cross key protection. So if you don't have a tight end here to help you and they might send 6 or 7, you want to line up your running back opposite of where he's going to block. Why? Somebody here's got to cover the running back. So when you cross your running back like this, you avoid an add-on blitz. Somebody's going to have to peel off in case this guy's running a route, right? So you're removing a guy that's a potential blitzer on cover 0 if you cross key your protection with the running back. So here, his cross keying, you're going to see the effect it has on the protection. It's cover 0. What do we like against cover 0? Middle of the field, right? Slot receivers, middle of the field. Quarterback's just got to hang on for a little bit. Guy's got no help. He's covering the best receiver in the slot, no help inside. Hang on, be tough in the pocket, trust your protection, get that ball on the bender. You see it from the close shot. If the running back was just simply lined up on the left side, then this linebacker right here that's responsible for covering him, he's probably peeling off. He's probably adding on, and we have a 7-man scheme coming at the quarterback. Now, when he crosses, look at what it does to this 42. He's got to go with him. And he's not blitzing. He's looking for the running back. Right? So we can handle a 6-man blitz. 7-man blitz, we're in trouble. So we get enough time, boom, cross key protection coaches versus 0. Make sure you isolate your slot receiver on the safety. Okay, and these are the last examples I have. Been talking for too long now. This is what you said, Coach. Flood versus 3. Okay, this is the concept basically that we're using. He's bubbling out, which I'm not a big fan of, because the flat defender here, if he bubbles out instead of running an arrow route or whatever you want to call it, it doesn't influence this guy enough. He's just going to keep sinking and sinking and sinking, right? So now the way we teach the quarterbacks to read this is it's a 2 shell. So his movement key is the field safety, which gains depth. Okay, this is not a good play versus this look. They got 3 on 3. So really what he's got to go is if it's a 2 look and he sustains the shell movement key, he's thinking about going 1 right now. This is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. 1 is there. Get the ball to 1 right now. Just dump it. Let this guy run versus space, right? And he doesn't feel confident with it. He tries to scramble. It's 3rd and 12. Good defense versus this call. Now, if your quarterback is struggling to make this read, for example, okay, versus or it's a defense that's playing a lot of 2 shell, and you still want to throw flood because you invested a lot of practice time on it, there's a couple ways you got to do it, right? So for us is let's get into a heavy set and force man coverage, right? This is an example of, hey, we love flood. We love this take 2 post versus and a sail combination, which is an element of our flood concept. We rep this a lot. Let's use it in a going in red zone. Let's get into a heavy formation to make sure these guys are playing man coverage. Quarterback has a 7-8 man protection. Easy pie. We're just throwing a deep sail route to the best receiver against man coverage in the red zone. It's still the same flood concept. Okay, we're just doing it against man coverage. What's another way to do it? Since we can't read the 1, 2, 3, low, medium, high. Okay, on a stretch, let's do it out of movement. This is a bootleg play where we're removing the low route. We're removing the flat route. So we're replacing the flat route with the threat of the quarterback keeper on the bootleg, right? The quarterback now becomes the low threat. As he's running, you pull a flat defender down, and now you can sneak your sail route with your take 2 post clearing out for it in the red zone. Now, running the wide receiver here does a great job of settling versus this expanding defender. And we can just hook it, throw that ball. Quarterback's on the run. They all play flag football in the offseason, so they're great running around and throwing these balls. There's another way of utilizing the same concept, which is a drop back concept, and simplifying the reads for your quarterback. Offensive line loves it too because they can't rush the passer straight up like this too. So basically that's it. And so yeah, coaches. I mean, I went in for a long time, and this is just my contact right here. This is my email, my Twitter handle. I don't know if any of this was interesting to any of the coaches up there, but yeah, I appreciate the time. And if anybody has any, I'll be happy to talk about it.
I thought it was brilliant, man. Thanks very much.
Mm-hmm.
There is one thing I wanted to ask, Bill.
Absolutely.
What's with it? Why is it that you have gone for the left foot back technique with your quarterback? There's
a huge debate. I love it. There's a huge debate because so for us, what we feel is we get a lot of raw prospects, right? Like the dynamic in Mexico is very interesting. So if you recruit a quarterback that played football in Mexico City region, he's probably going to be very polished, right? They have quarterback coaches. They understand coverages, reads, and you know, he can play whatever the way it is. But if you start recruiting kids from the further away states, so like Tijuana up north or the beach states like Cancun, Cabo, whatever, these kids are they're raw. In these places, you can still find like wing quarterbacks, right? And we've just found that it's an easier transition, timing wise and mechanics wise, to be left foot back. 1, to throw quick game, and 2, to transition from that into a 3-step crossover step and still be at 10 and 10.5 yards deep. If we're, right foot back, what we've sensed is right foot back, guys hop too much, they drift too much, and then at the end of the day, you're either late or you're too deep for our tackles. I swear to God, like if you're at 11 yards depth, you're getting sacked with our tackles. These guys are just too fast off the edge. It's just you're not putting these guys in a winning proposition. So in the end, it's like, hey, you guys want to throw the ball, right? If you want to throw the ball, you want to be protected. Help these guys out. Be at 10 yards depth. Make sure they can push the edge rusher past you. and we've just been more successful getting to 10 yards out of left foot back drops than out of right foot back drops. I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, definitely. It's definitely something I'm going to try now, if I'm honest. I'm a right foot back type of guy when I'm coaching. I'll definitely give the left foot a shot. So I appreciate the talk through there. Thanks so much.
In the end, both work,
I imagine it will. I just liked how smooth it looked on the video there. It looks very smooth. So it's something I will definitely look into.
What I did like about right foot back, and I heard this from the quarterbacks coach at the University of Colorado, was that right foot back is better for right-handed quarterbacks to throw quick game, right? Because it's basically the same footwork both ways. And it changes a little bit when you're left foot back and you're throwing to your right. So I like that argument. But when you put it on a scale and you weigh it, you see, like, what is best for the kids that you recruit and what is best for what you're doing in your office, right? If we go to throwing quick game 70% of the time, we might go right foot back. But as for the proportion that we're doing stuff, it makes more sense for us to be left foot back.
For me, no, I definitely want to have a look at it now, because after seeing your footage there, it does look really, really smooth. So it is something I'm going to try out now, definitely.
Good stuff.
Perfect. Coach, absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so much. Great talk. I'm sure anyone watching it and watching back will take loads from it. Any final tips before you go, and good luck with October?
Absolutely, guys. I appreciate it. If anybody wants, film on it or to talk ball or whatnot, it's I know I went long, but at the end of the day, there's a lot to learn from every league. That's the big thing that I learned come from international football is, hey, just learn how people do it in different places, because a look that we don't see in Mexico, maybe defenses are running up there in England, and I see it the first time in clinic. Then I see it here in Mexico and I'm ready for it, because I've saw a clinic of a coach saying how they attack it and all that. So I think it's neat what you guys are doing. I appreciate the opportunity, and hopefully be able to catch a game in person soon up there at the UK.
Yeah. And just
I do have a question.
Go on.
I do have a question before I leave. Is it coming home or not?
Absolutely. En route. It's coming home. It's coming home. And in case any
I love that.
We have Brazil Argentina tonight, man, too. So I'm already amped up. I'm gonna be juiced up tonight, and then tomorrow I'm all England, man. I'm going for you guys.
Oh, nice. And for any quarterbacks watching, always remembering the famous words of John Gruden: "Never throw the Venus on Spider Y2 banana."
Exactly.
Knock on wood if you're with me. Look, guys, thanks very much. It's been a pleasure, Coach, and I'm sure we'll be in contact very soon. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Right, thanks everyone for watching the fourth recording for today, our live show. We're back at 6 o'clock for our last live session of the day. Obviously, there will be videos going through the evening. Join us then as we talk wide receivers. I'll see you all around 6 o'clock. Thank you very much. See you then.
In about half an hour. See you then.
Yeah, see you then. Bye-bye.